when you kick loose to him, he really can punish you. But it's Darren Sweetenham and young Shane Daly for me. You know, a young 7-star now coming through. You know, playing his club rugby again in Cork and it's great to see. Like String said, the club's been used properly and facilitated with that. But Shane Daly is a star in the making. He is rapid, quick. Must be doing something right in training to come into the team now. So I'm excited to see him.
Absolutely. Well, Sweetenham, looking at his pre-season form, he's the man to watch in this game so far. I think I'm expecting a couple of tries if it opens up for him. Yeah, definitely. I think you look at the whole back three as well, and the guys who are still to come into this team, there's great competition there. That's what you want. You want new guys coming in and challenge you for your place. And ultimately, that's what you want. That's what's going to build a squad. That's what's going to build success. And that's what ultimately building a platform in this Pro 14 is so crucial to Munster. And we have to remember, JJ Hanrahan is the man starting here today. All the talk again, Joey Carberry. But JJ finished the season so well last year. We're looking forward to seeing him.
Absolutely, and a young man full of drive. You know it yourself, Tommy. When you get your chance, your opportunity, you're not worried about anyone else. Superstars, you get a chance to get on the pitch. He's going to make sure that they leave Joey on the bench. You know, he'd love that. And look, you want it to be competitive. And
the thing with JJ, he wants to play 10. He went away, he left, he went over to Northampton. He wanted that opportunity of playing first team rugby. And you know, he has that ambition in his head, and he's not going to roll over for anybody here. Yeah, he spoke earlier about his ambition. We have to remember again, it's the Cheetahs here today as well. Obviously, their home form back in South Africa was incredible. They won 8 of their 10 home games, but away form was difficult for them. What are we expecting? Obviously, it was a tough game for them last time they played here last year, Dunners.
Yeah, absolutely. There's been an awful lot of changes with the Cheetahs as well. An awful lot of players moving on. They're trying to facilitate and manage both the Curry Cup and the Pro 14, so it's very, very difficult for them. But as all South African teams, it's going to be incredibly intense and physical, and you know, it should make for a great game.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you got a prediction for us going into this first half?
Yeah, look, I think Munster will be too strong. I think you look back at the Cheetahs' first 2 games last year, they nearly shipped 100 points between the 2 games. I think, like Donica said, with the Curry Cup, you know, coinciding with this fixture as well, it's going to be very, very difficult for a squad that loses 13 players. Yeah. So I think, you know, Munster, with the ambition that they have, the weather and the back three that they have, I think it's going to be a Munster win.
Okay, Donica?
Yeah, same as.
2 wild predictions, come on, give us something better than that.
We can't, if I'm voting with my heart and my head, it's all Munster.
Okay, well, you're mad for the backs here at the minute. I mean, have you got a first try score? Come on, give us something here.
For me, the machine in the Munster pack is Dave O'Callaghan, a guy that doesn't get an awful lot of credit at all, but gets through a mountain of work. He's just one of these guys you love playing with. You know, doesn't get credit from people on the sideline or in the papers, but his teammates know his value. Dave O'Callaghan is a superstar.
Okay, well, it's a super day here in Thome Park. The sun is shining, the atmosphere is building. Let's hand upstairs to Conor Morris and Liam Toland.
Munster Rugby would like to thank our sponsors, title sponsor Bank of Ireland.
Thome Park is bathed in late summer sunshine as Munster kick off a new season amid considerable optimism with a Guinness Pro 14 round 1 encounter against the men from Bloemfontein, the Toyota Cheetahs. Munster's search for silverware ended in semi-final defeats in both competitions last season, suggesting perhaps that they're only 1 or maybe 2 pieces away from completing the jigsaw. Whether the added X factor of Joey Carberry's IRFU orchestrated arrival is that missing piece, well, only time will tell. But it's certainly got people talking around Limerick and Cork. It could define Munster's season, and of course it will have broader implications with Ireland's tilt at a World Cup in Japan on the distant horizon. The visitors from South Africa first to arrive on the field in front of us, and a decent crowd inside Thome Park enjoying the splendid weather. Well, the Cheetahs coach, Franco Smith, has named half a dozen new faces to the Pro 14 in his matchday 23, and he's also lost the services of many key players over the summer. Francois Venter, Usher Kassim and Clayton Blumekes, to name but a few. And the Cheetahs today captained by the 19 times capped Springbok, Opa Mahoje. In the backs, there's Pro 14 debuts for Bernard Janssen van Rensburg and Tien Schumann, who played his rugby last season in the top 14 in France with Bordeaux. And they will look to play a high-tempo game. They will look to break from deep. And in broken field play, they can be very, very dangerous indeed. They had a wonderful season last time round, reaching the playoffs. Munster, well, they had a fast start to the Pro 14 last season, winning 4 of their opening 5 matches, including an 8-try blitz against today's opponents, the Cheetah, here on match day 2. And a wonderful reception for the team in red as they arrive out for their first match of the season. Johan van Graan hands debuts to 3 players for Munster's opening salvo of the season, including fellow South African Arno Botha, who starts at number 8, but it's the likelihood of a 4th debut off the bench today that really captures the imagination. Joey Carberry, Sojourn South from Leinster, is a narrative that will run right throughout this season. Debuts also for Haley and Shane Daly in that back 3, and a notable mention for Neil Cronin, who gets a second bite at the big time, stepping up from Gary Owen to representative colours at scrum half alongside JJ Hanrahan. The match referee in Limerick this afternoon is from Wales. Captain, Dan Jones is ready, and it will be our visitors from the Southern Hemisphere in the shape of Tian Schumann to get us underway. So Munster's season and that of the Toyota Cheetahs is underway as Munster look to execute their opening exit strategy, and the ball is heading right in the direction of the man alongside me up here in the commentary box. Good evening, Liam Toland.
Good evening, Conor. Well, Tyke Byrne isn't in today, he's 23, but you've mentioned Joey Carberry, and you have to say the Midwest holds its breath to see when he eventually comes on. But for me tonight, it's Simon Zebo's replacement, Mike Halley. I'm really looking forward to seeing him for the first time in the flesh.
The first line out of the game is successfully completed by the Cheetahs. Solid effort to number 2 in the line. Now what can they manufacture out in midfield? And Sean Venter gets his team moving. A quick ball, and he moves it on to Jacques de Toit, and it's made its way into the arms of Jasper Wiese. Can expect a few heavy collisions in the opening exchanges, and particularly when this man's got his hands on the ball. Oxen Che, wonderful player, former Currie Cup Player of the Year and an international now following the summer's exploits. Jacques de Toot, little show and go, runs into a couple of red jerseys midway between the 10-metre line and the Munster 22, and we have the first penalty of the evening inside 90 seconds, and it goes the way of the Cheetahs.
You can already see the setup from the Cheetahs. You can see the big ball carriers out wide, trying to get the ball a bit further away, and the Munster fringe defenders have to set up that bit further wide as well. So John Ryan, for me, he had a marvellous end of the season. The influence he had when he came on against Australia in the Test series. I know it was only for a short-ish period of time, but it was a supreme effort on him. Looking forward to seeing him. And all the way through the Munster setup, particularly Arno Botha at number 8, an explosive blues bull player, and I'm really looking forward to seeing that. So opening passages of play so far, it's been all Cheetahs.
Yes, Arno Botha introduced in the first half of the game against Exeter. Munster were held scoreless, but he made a big impact. Now, can the Cheetahs make an early impact inside 2 or 3 minutes here? And he got plenty behind the strike, but he didn't quite have the direction. There's a big responsibility on the shoulders of 26-year-old Tian Schumann coming into that number 10 jersey. As I mentioned at the outset, the Cheetahs have lost, much to the chagrin of Franco Smith, quite a few players in key positions over the summer months. Big turnover of players. And very often kicking down to that goal at that end, as you know very well, Liam. There's a swirling breeze, but beautiful conditions for rugby today. Running rugby and expansive rugby, and barely a breath of wind.
And the pitch is absolutely fantastic. I think everything about the wind was actually helping him in a sense. He'll be disappointed not to have converted that 3 points.
And plenty of hang time on the restart from JJ Henry. Keep your eye out for number 5 in the Cheetahs lineup, JP Dupree. You can't really miss him. He's a rather tall chap at 6'11", Devon Toner tall, really. Now here they come on the attack once again. settled into the game pretty well. That was Neil Cronin, quick out of the defensive line for Munster, but it's his opposite number, Sean Venter, with ball in hand, and he looks to get Chi involved in the fray.
Forwards, wait.
Schumann kicking deep. First piece of work for Shane Daly on his debut. He did make the bench for one game against Ulster last season. Good delivery from Schumann. And off and running is Malcolm Yar. And Chi again, but he's run into a combination of Kilcoyne and Ryan. Shane Daly's position is spot on, and as indeed is his clearance kick.
You mentioned Neil Cronin there a couple of times. Just interesting from a scrum half point of view, there's many ways they can set up defensively, but he's not in behind the breakdown, he's out in the fringe. He's maybe fourth or fifth of the defenders, so that's a move from the traditional place for sometimes scrum halves. I know Conor Murray, with Ireland in particular, sets up well out in the back line, and Cronin, his understudy if you like, is following suit.
So Jacques Dutoit from touch, and this time he found Justin Basson.
Backwards, play on, play on.
Ball's going backward now. There's a frenzied scramble to try and get it, and they've turned it over back on the Munster side, quickly out of hands from JJ Hanrahan, and Munster get moving up to halfway.
No.
Cronin through Billy Holland, the captain. Hanrahan taking ball into contact. It's quick again from Cronin, and suddenly there's a little bit of a dogleg in space, and through that space goes Rory Scannell. Carried on really well by Cronin. He started this match extremely well. Big occasion for him. Sherry held up on the Cheetahs 10-metre line. Top back inside. Willing ball carrier as ever, Sean Klein. Little deeper this time to Hanrahan. Has a little look across and spots a pocket of space. The bounce in the end wasn't too kind to the Munster fly half, but that's gone forward.
You mentioned JJ Hanrahan, Conor. Like, he must be the most obvious player on the pitch who's wondering about Joey Carberry. I wonder how much pressure JJ is putting on himself, because he's a quality player. He's got all the tricks. Obviously he went away for a season or so and he came back, and he was fighting with Ian Keatley, and now he's got another bag of tricks to manage. It'd be really interesting as the game evolves how much pressure he's going to put on himself. Is he going to try and play rabbits out of a hat, or is he going to go through a process in a sense? But there's a lot of pressure on him, and I hope he settles in well.
2013-14 season really was his zenith in Munster colours. Young Player of the Year and the Golden Boot winner in the Pro14. So we're poised for the first scrum of the evening. The ball in the hand of Neil Cronin, brother of Sean. They'll have to reset.
And Munster have stacked entirely, the backline that is, entirely on the open side. So Sweetenham is waiting, loitering behind the scrum. The new fullback, Mike Haley, is in the backline as well. So this is a fantastic attacking position.
Sweetenham was a standout player in pre-season. There wasn't a great deal of illuminating things to report from both matches, but he certainly was the highlight.
He's got wonderful feet, hasn't he? He's a relatively big guy, but the way even his little cameo line down the tram tracks there earlier on, he's got fantastic feet. He really challenges the defender.
Munster free kick. And the clear out is good. And the tackling is good and strong too. And Chi again, he's been very prominent, only played 7.5 minutes or thereabouts, so there's a little bit of a hole in there, but it's pass not gone to hand. Both teams really intent on getting their backlines moving. The contest for the ball on the floor is excellent too. Van Rensburg there, and then they move it on from Jasper Weisse. Back to the reaches of the Cheetahs 22.
Use it 9.
Up it goes from Sean Venter. Confident take. Good start to the game for Shane Daly. They've lost the ball on the floor though. Van Rensburg, again the target when they sling it infield from those kind of positions is the loose head prop forward Oxen Chua. And now they've got hands free out of the tackle. And eventually the ball's just gone forward. That's another shot across the boys for Munster, another warning sign. They've started the game well, the Cheetahs.
Well done, Jockey.
He did really well initially to try and gather that. The ball was stuck to the back of his thigh.
Pull out that late, okay?
And here's Darren Sweetenham. We were talking about him off camera, but he just pops up into the middle of the park, and that's fantastic play. Now, you'll say, some might say, listen, don't throw away that, but I think the pass is on. As the season evolves, what he's done brilliantly is to attack an outside shoulder, and look, sucks in 3 defenders. Great play from Sweetenham.
A couple of Ireland caps under his belt already, having made his debut against South Africa in November 17, and then scored against the Fijians on a second cap on the occasion of his first start. And Cronin feeds a crippling scrum, but the decision goes the way of the Munster men.
You've gone in an angle and you've driven down.
Yeah, it's not straight from the tight head.
Yeah, I think referee is spotting. Dan Jones is spotting the tight head, lost his bind and went straight in towards the hooker.
There's good mark. That's it. Fine.
So look at the bind of the tight head. He's supposed to be binding right down along the body or over the back. And of course the referee is so much to look at. He gets a picture and he sees that and he says that's the problem.
Well, they're up against a vastly experienced Munster front row. And the man who gave away the penalty there, Lewin de Bruin, has only played 32 minutes of Pro 14 rugby before this afternoon. Plenty of invention and creativity in Munster's opening 10 minutes play here. Moxwani to his fullback, Malcolm Yair. Explosive player with so much pace and promise in that back three, the Cheetahs.
There is quite a bit of ball handling, but the Munster ball carrier, the first receiver, is taking much narrower than the Cheetahs front 5 is carrying. They seem to, when they get that flow ball, they go much wider out. There, Billy Holland taking the ball relatively narrow and therefore a wall of defenders.
Comfortable once again at line-out time. And Cronin, Hanrahan. And they move it swiftly out to Shane Daly. Cuts back in the inside, swallowed up that time by Van Rensburg. O'Callaghan waits over the 10-metre line. Cronin once more. JJ Hanrahan again. Trying to vary up their play, change up those running angles. And now they move it through midfield and it's taken on with real impetus by Tommy O'Donnell. And he gets his pass away. Haven't seen anything really with ball in hand from Mike Haley so far. Stepping and jinking into the 22. First time we've seen Munster really approaching the red zone now. Can they manufacture something? Ball's a little slower coming back. The Cheetahs defensive line is reasonably well set, and then Cronin goes down a little bit of a cul-de-sac. Tries for a penalty. Dan Jones is well placed and he sees it the other way.
He's over from the initial ruck and then he went on and played it. Holding on. Ball came out of the original ruck and then he went on it, latched on. No, it's not a new ruck, it's then open play. He's gone on the jack.
This is down in terms of bites of the cherry. How many bites do the defenders get on the ball? I think the Munster players are saying, hang on, that's the second bite that he shouldn't be allowed in there. But earlier, watch this from fullback Mike Haley. Wonderful. I know he only gains a couple of yards, but look at that. Thanks for coming. Fantastic feet. Question marks. Everyone slips by a second. Who'll be feeling a little bit annoyed at himself.
Make sure we're
that's wonderful.
Feet. Until my hand comes down.
Well, he comes with so much experience for a 24-year-old. He's played over 100 times in the Premiership in England. One or two occasions called into Eddie Jones' extended England training camp, but he is of course Irish qualified, and that's gone straight to JP Dupree. Quick ball off the top, and they're quickly using the full expanse of the Thomond Park pitch here, and they've worked it back inside brilliantly to Malcolm Yair. It's a very, very aggressive clear out. And up the middle they go up to the Munster 22. Schumann has a little look, and Munster's defensive line, principally Neil Cronin, was up very quickly. That's a little bit messy. The ball's gone to floor. Backwards, says Dan Jones. Over the top they go now. Mahoje, the captain, but they've turned that on the floor, Munster.
Wait in on you.
That's brilliant stuff defensively from the team in red. Cronin waits.
Let him up.
And he hands the responsibility to his team of forwards. Ball just pops out. Munster penalty.
Time off.
Certainly the Cheetahs are happy spreading the ball from left to right, the full width of the pitch they're doing, but as a result they're running out of a little bit of support when they do so. Maybe that's a subtle difference between what Munster trying to do. Great offload, but look at this left-hand touchline, and moments later they're on the far side. Just resourcing those breakdowns is the challenge for Cheetahs.
Yeah, fine.
And if you don't get the resources, then the ball is vulnerable, and then there's that risk of a turnover. So good play.
Well, they scored plenty of tries last season, 75 in all, just 3 shy of Munster 78. The problem, of course, was at the other end defensively. They conceded 68. Only Zebre conceded more, conceding 78. Felix Jones having a chat with Johan van Graan. I wonder what he makes of the opening 13-14 minutes. It's been full-blooded from both teams. Good friends, of course, with Franco Smith, his opposite number this afternoon.
Can we just get the buggy, the medic buggy, and then once he's coming off? Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
will not
it's on the way of course there as well. Yeah.
Like to lose Opa Mahoje, such an important player for the Cheetahs. And here's how the injury came about.
So he actually hit the deck without any red jersey laying a finger on him. But look at the amount of red jerseys available to swarm in. Straight away over the ball, great body position.
Well, that looks...
But certainly they're the slight subtle differences thus far. We're only 13-14 minutes in. But the Cheetahs are using the full width of the pitch at all stages, whereas Munster, when they get on the ball, JJ Hanrahan is looking up to see opportunities, but he's getting his fatties to carry that bit more narrow, and they're resourcing the ball, and they look like a side that wants to keep going up through the heart of the Cheetahs defence.
Well, this is a massive blow. If you were to pick one player that really the Cheetahs could not afford to lose, it is this man, Captain Opa Mahoje. 19 caps for the Springboks and so much experience. And he is the go-to man.
What he's done is cleared past, the ball is then there, and he's entitled to stay.
Forced into a switch inside 14 minutes. Hugely disappointing for him and indeed for his team and for Franco Smith, replaced by Aidan Davis wearing number 20. So we will restart with the line out on this near side.
Lads, on your front man early, please. Front man out.
And we will sincerely hope that the injury to the Cheetahs captain is not as severe and nasty as it looked. Mike Sherry
won
his 100th Munster cap in the match against Ulster back in April.
That's once.
Sherry still going. It's on its way back to Cronin. 1 or 2 Cheetah players in the way.
8, release! That's it. Good. Wait in, wait. 8.
Cronin once more. Flat line there, taken by Scannell. Took it at good pace. Hanrahan well wrapped up. That's that man Oxenture with a barreling tackle, the loose head prop forward. He's only 23. He carries a real impact. A little bit loose this time. Goggins sends one down into the corner, retrieved by Malcolm Yar. Holly sends it in field to Hanrahan. Now Sweetenham, he's got a yard or 2 of space and he stands up the inside centre for the Cheetahs and he beats him comfortably and he's got men on the outside. Munster are going to get the first try of the evening. Brilliant score. Finished off by Rory Scannell but made by Darren Sweetenham. And that's got the crowd on their feet inside 16 minutes here at Thomond Park in Limerick. full length of the pitch from the team in red.
Well, there's so much about that score, Conor, that's worth every penny of the ticket. They received the ball on the left-hand touchline here in front of us. You could hear the crowd go counter. There was a flat back three, and they gave it out to Sweetenham. What amazing feat. Shifts the ball from one side to the next. And what, like, Scannell set that up moments earlier, maybe 2 minutes earlier, that flat line of superb play. But how he finds himself right out on the touchline is wonderful, and a clean run in towards the line. Superb try. We've spotted Sweetenham several times already with his dancing feet. He's mimicking Mike Haley in many, many ways, but they transition from left-hand touchline all the way across, and they attack Cheetahs where they're weakest, and a player like Sweetenham really makes a dummy out of some defenders.
Well, he had the option even to draw the defensive player, who was the fly-half Tian Schumann, and get the pass away before the contact. He just danced around him and offloaded it. Not to be for JJ Hanrahan, but a scintillating try to get us underway here. Well worth looking at it again.
One defender and a second defender just sitting on his heels there. He's making it life very difficult for himself, the defender. He needs to push Sweetenham out towards it. He needs to push him somewhere, but sitting there as a target, Sweetenham has the feet to be able to just dance around him. Wonderful, wonderful play. Oi.
So Schumann gets the Cheetahs back underway. It's taken Munster almost the first half of the first half to get their noses in front. They were a couple of tries to the good at this stage last season when they eventually ran in 8 tries in a comprehensive and emphatic 51 points to 18 victory. Schumann again. Munster hand in there, and it's a penalty.
Okay, fine, penalty only.
To be fair to Daly, he found himself facing 3 white jerseys and he went for it in a way. The Munster midfield and front 5 need to push out and not let him expose in that sense. He made the decision. Cheap penalty.
And Schumann makes sure. Didn't perhaps get his from the tight angle quite as much distance as he might have liked. As I said, he played his rugby last season in France with Bordeaux.
You got to sit on your foot, man, and it's clear. That's good. Thank you.
Jacques de Toit, the Cheetahs hooker, only 3 starts in the competition last season, 5 off the bench, scored a try against Leinster. They go into midfield where they look at the run of Nico Lee. Back it goes to Schumann. A little bit of traffic up ahead, so he's forced to cut back inside.
I'm 20. Off feet 2 now. No, off feet 2.
And Chi again. Klein forces him backwards. That's good play from Munster's second row. And once again for Venser. Schumann goes a little bit deeper, and there's a little split in that Munster rear guard, but now they've got hands over the ball and they've turned it over. Crowd enjoying this from the home side. 20 minutes gone, 5 points to no score. Shipped away by John Ryan, and a little chip in behind, and there is space and room there. It's all on the bounce really, and it's picked up brilliantly by Klein.
Thank you.
Cronin switches the point of the attack. Well, it was a rushed kick. It was the right idea. The execution just wasn't quite there, but he knew Mike Hilly there was space in behind.
But Haley coming up there is we've seen the modern game where you're 10 and 15 or alternating. If Haley went down the blind side, that's where the opportunity was. A fast, flat ball. It was great outbreak from a great turnover. Kilcoyne did exceptionally well to gain another 15 metres. Down the blind side is where the opportunity was. A kick almost to nothing in the end.
Wait.
And once again, it's good, clean take at line-out time. Pocamella. As we just go quickly across to the far sideline where Jerry Flannery's been good enough to pick up a mic and have a chat with us. Jerry, your thoughts on the opening 21 minutes here, please?
I think the Cheetahs are trying to stretch us. They're playing 2 hit-ups on the open side and then looking to come back and see if we've gotten tight. I think we dealt with it reasonably well. I think Neil Cronin has led the line really well for us in D, and he's been pretty proficient in moving the ball from the base as well. We've gotten back into the game a bit, but there's still opportunities that we're probably hitting the front door a little bit too often when we could probably go wide.
And just a quick word on the architect of that score, Darren Sweetenham. All the talk in pre-season was that he was hitting the ground running, and certainly that was in evidence here.
Yeah, we're ideally for us, we get fellas like Sweets in one-on-one situations, and that's where they can use their magic the most. And I think Darren did really well, and Rory finished it.
Appreciate your time, Jerry. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's your angle. If it's square, I'll reward you. If it's not, I won't.
Yeah, the contribution there of Neil Cronin, both in defence and attack, being recognised by Jerry.
But of course, if we had time, we'd be wondering why. That's obviously a definite team structured defensive system to put the scrum half out there and to lead that line.
Bind! Set! Keep it square 1, please, and keep it height.
And this time Hanrahan goes to Goggin. Good fetch from Mike Healy. Set upon by Nico Lee. Munster need to get numbers there. That's well done. Tommy O'Donnell did well. Scannell trying to escape the clutches of Dupree. Hanrahan this time through Kilcoyne. Strong carry up over halfway by the Munster loose head. And this time it's the aerial route. Sweetenham's off in chase, and it's found its way into the grasp of Healy. Good gain of ground there from the team in red, and Klein gets it back to Hanrahan. And can he spot a little gap and dance his way through? Basson eventually with the tackle. Scannell at first receiver in the absence of Hanrahan on that occasion.
Okay, lost now, lost. Too late.
And they continue down that short side. Shipped on through Mike Sherry.
Ball is still in.
John Ryan protecting there for Cronin to Scannell again, mixing it up nicely here. Munster, Kilcoyne in the line. Tackled again by Nico Lee. Hanrahan back inside for Sweetenham, and he's away again. And Darren Sweetenham stands up the winger and the fullback, and between them they just about managed to barrel him into touch, but he's come right over from that far right hand side to get involved, and every time he gets anywhere near the ball they're on their feet right around Thomond Park.
Well, that's the thing we all see, but I thought Kilcoyne took a one-out pop pass. He barreled into about 3 white jerseys and pivoted his hips and shoulders around and looked to make the offload. Couldn't make it, but it was a quick breakdown play. And Sweetenham, like he's a right winger, popping up all over the place, but the feet and the fact that he's hungry to search for the ball are a wonderful combination.
No, it's not out.
Ball's not out yet.
Make sure you don't gamble if you're not sure.
But it is now, and it's out of play. Just shy of the 10-metre line.
I'm happy to answer, but you're guessing you're running a risk.
Now, for the last 2 or 3 Cheetahs lineouts, Munster stayed on the ground. They're not even bothering to target in the air, but I don't think Cheetahs would be as kind.
Outside.
Not straight this time.
Okay, scrum on line out.
But they were conscious the Cheetahs pod was getting in. You mentioned him, 6'11". It's going to be difficult. Well worth avoiding. But again, action and reaction. If you can get ahead of him, regardless of how tall he is, he's reacting and he's not going to get to the pitch of the ball at the same pace. But Munster have decided before the game, possibly, not to contest in the air. There was a Cheetahs short line out, 5 or 6 man line out earlier on. They stayed on the deck, and they did in the previous one. But Cheetahs want to get the big man into the air to Priya.
We just require a little bit of a treatment for Billy Holland, is it, or perhaps Dave Kilcoyne?
Captain, with those ones, I'd rather you
like that's when you want your right winger popping up on the left, targeting mismatches, I think is the politically correct way of saying it. But I was really impressed by Kilcoyne, the previous breakdown. Here he is, look at this, he barrels in through, and look at his eyes. He looks up to see can he get the ball away. He can't, he makes the right decision, hits the deck. The ball is in the perfect place, and that's what gives Sweetenham the opportunity. What Kilcoyne did earlier on. Everyone will be giving Sweetenham the plaudits, and rightly so, but Kilcoyne deserves credit too.
Young Player of the Year in 2017. 7 tries in his 25 games, Darren Sweetenham. The man from Bandon Grammar School. And it's his try that separates the sides as we reach 25 minutes. They've flown by.
Crouch! Bind!
Case of deja vu about the Cheetahs' start to the season up in the Northern Hemisphere, playing Irish sides, lost to Ulster and Munster on the opening 2 games of last season, but then rallied really well, winning each of their next 3 games as they look to put it through the hands again and work it out to that far side through Yair to Maxwani. Darren Sweetenham on point defensively as well as offensively this afternoon. Double team tackle. And again, hunting in packs here. Munster really aggressive approach, hard off the line. And Cheat, difficult man to put to ground. This time he passes to Schumann and they move it quickly through the hands. That's really well done. Daly just missed his tackle momentarily. They've recycled it and moved it at pace into midfield, and it's Auction Cheese. Had a huge impact every time he gets near the ball. That's a little bit loose. They just need to temper their expansive game ever so slightly, but when it works well. Over ambitious, just sees it go marginally forward, but they're exciting to watch and they're full of ambition.
You've mentioned Enshi many times, the loose head prop. He's supremely comfortable on the ball, and again it's a little like what Kilcoyne did for Sweetenham, creating space for guys outside him. He's taking that first ball miles out. See, he's taking it really wide. He's setting a great tone. This is out in the far reaches of the right hand touchline, but Enshi is just doing really well. He's about 15-20 metres from where the ball has been passed. Very comfortable on the ball, and he's targeting, trying to hit it back. In this case it was Tommy O'Donnell, but he's getting outside the last forward defender, and if that's a quick ball then all the Munster forwards are inside it, so really gives an opportunity and a bit of space further wide out. Great play, and at contrast to how Munster are approaching it, just different styles. You know, it's immaterial which style you use as long as you impose your game on the opposition.
Well, Franco Smith has given up his day job, if you like, previous to this as the box attack coach, to try and steer the Cheetahs to further glory in the Pro 14. They did, of course, make the playoffs last time around, and as I mentioned, only finished 6 points behind Munster in 3rd in Conference A. Very much fulfilling the brief in their first season. He will be very disappointed, if you're just joining us, to have seen his captain, Opa Mahoje, forced to leave the fray early on.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
And away come Munster again. Arno Bota. Flat into midfield to Goggin, and straight away they move it all the way out to Daly. Now what's he got in his locker?
He did very well to rotate a couple of times, gains a couple of seconds, so the ball isn't isolated.
Cronin was quick there because he was relying on the referee. He thought the ball might not have been on. He's done well the scrum half there. Excellent opening half an hour.
5 move, please. Thank you. You're fine now.
Holland to Daly. Just trying to work that metre of space. He's so explosive. Another of the crop of players that came through that Ireland under-20 side and made it all the way to the World Cup final back in 2016. Look at this from Dave O'Callaghan. He's made all of 15-20 metres in jig time there on Hanrahan. Now is there space for Munster in midfield, and Botza, and away goes the big man, the South African. Lots to admire in the opening half hour here from Munster. So to the play of Dave Kilcoyne as he pops one off the deck. They weren't arriving quick enough for him. Klein. Cronin once more. Hanrahan. Daly back inside this time. Midway inside the Cheetahs 22. A try to the good. courtesy of Darren Sweetenham already, and they recycle it and move it to John Ryan. And they're getting man to the ball carrier now, and they've got lots of options here, Scannell. They've got numbers potentially. Daly. Tutu is outside, O'Callaghan and Healy were there.
Penalty advantage, red.
Cover tackle was good, but there's a penalty coming for Munster should they require it, but they're going for 5 here.
Wait till how many got.
Cronin waits, assessing the options, and John Ryan is one of them, and he's a pretty good one.
Knock on, going back,
but he's lost it forward. We'll go back for the penalty. He looked a shoe in to get a second try there.
Now the big question is, what's the decision Munster do? Do they go to the touch? Do they take the points? I think going to the touch would be the... It looks to me a little like the Cheetahs, after a great sparkling opening, 5-10 minutes, have tired a little bit. They're just not hitting that. They're releasing space. They're not coming up as offensively as they were in the opening stages. Some amazing passages of play for Munster there, really, really impressive. It all started from the white line fever, if you like. When you get that close, Conor, you always... But it all started from the Munster number 8, both way back. He's picked from the base of the scrum, attacked down the left-hand side, just pushed away the Cheetah scrum half.
Well, here they go with Pota. Looking for a try on his debut. On the back of that well-manufactured line-out. Now Kilcoyne gets a bit of help too, and it's on the line. That's a try.
Hold, time off. Wait.
Yeah, it's Dave Kilcoyne barreling his way through. He got support then from Sean Klein. I think the momentum from the big second rower was enough to get the front rower over the line, but we've come across to the referee's assistant on the near side.
On the line.
Look, I saw 10 wiped offside.
Yeah.
I took my sight off the ground because I was watching 10. He's half hit the ruck.
Yeah.
Just offside for me, I didn't see a grounding.
Okay, we'll have to check that then.
Well,
okay,
that might be the subplot, because it looked to me in real time, Liam, certainly that Dave Kilcoyne did enough there.
I haven't seen the clear grounding, neither has Craig.
I love the body language from the both.
If not, we're going back for a penalty offside against 10 white.
Try yes or no, we'll review.
The key discussion is was it a try or not? Not what the out half is doing. But they can't see everything. But Kilcoyne did exceptionally well. Lands on his back in a way. There he is. Now, here's the question. It looks okay to me. But watch as the camera goes and the referee gets involved. He just wants to fully convince the referee, so he holds on for as long as he can and then just slips another couple of...
Dan?
Yeah, Simon?
You may award the try.
Thank you.
Okay, well that was relatively brief and simple. And Munster have their second try of the afternoon just past the half-hour mark. And it's a 21st in Munster colours for the prop forward Dave Kilcoyne.
Well, I tell you, in part, there's a great little interplay here. Both that takes it around the tail. Maybe that's where he could offload to a centre coming flying in. Scannell just arrives in there. But for me, the opening half is the tail of both loose heads. Kilcoyne has been really, really evident, as is his opponent man, Nietzsche. This is superb determination. Lands on his back, but still, a little like Tracy yesterday for Leinster. Knows exactly where the try line was. Had the knowledge just to not to throw away a 50-50. Really good, impressive opening half hour for both loose heads.
That's a good strike from JJ Hanrahan. 79 points last season, and he's off and running for this campaign. And Munster lead by 12 points to the Cheetahs' no score.
So tactically now, Conor, obviously we've discussed how Cheetahs been using the full width of the pitch and Munster a bit tighter. It might be clever for Munster to stick with that tactic, because I think Cheetahs are tiring a bit and they might go Harlem Globetrotters a bit, getting into their back three, and then if it gets loose, Munster should be able to capitalise.
Daly underneath it and deals with it well. Bota waits.
Okay, leave one off. Okay.
There's the two number ones going head to head once again.
Use.
Cronin takes his time and sends up the box kick.
Yeah, okay then. Lads, make sure we're bound in, okay? It formed just before.
There's certainly a number of the Cheetahs blowing, and the Cheetahs hooker Detroit is actually limping along as he goes. He looks like he's under a bit of pressure. Now Munster have not gone into the air in the first 2-3 lineouts. Cheetahs shorten it again.
Well, they've thrown it over the heads of everyone, including the 6'11" JP Dupree. Scannell. Goggin kicking. And finding a touch over on that far side.
Which is a pretty good return. Mike Sherry, we haven't mentioned him at all. He's had a terrible old few months with injuries and stuff. Great to see him back playing for Munster again. He's a super player out of the Garryowen club. And that's a really good turnover and a good punishment for Cheetahs, who I'm saying have got the look of things are beginning to leak a little bit for them. So I think Munster should stick with their game plan and really put pressure on the next 10 minutes right up to half-time.
Yeah, Mike Sherry's injury catalogue is well documented. All the way back to 2013. He missed the better part of 3.5 years.
Okay, wait.
You have to improvise again at breakdown time. No scrum half there, but Munster have secured it. Cronin gets them moving with Sean Klein, the former Western Province and Stormers second row, and Arno Bota's through here. He's up against Schumann and he takes him on the outside. Bota, can they get numbers to him?
I was just thinking that he was away so quickly, he lost his whole support line.
In behind John Ryan, who fumbles. It's the handoff from Sweetnam, and now they need to get numbers around their winger. And that's what the crowd want to see from Arno Bota. That's the reputation that he's got, and that's the danger that is attached to him every time he gets the ball. A couple of caps for South Africa, and we're seeing his quality already in this opening half on his debut. Munster with 3 on the outside. And again, they're up into that red zone, into the Cheetahs 22. Quickly recycled from Cronin. On it goes to Ryan. And this time his hands let him down. But it's good from Munster, left to right and through the centre, changing the lines and the impacts.
If you overrun the ball, they'll initiate the contact.
The speed with which he shows the ball in 2 hands, he fixes the last defender, who in this case was their outside half, and he just simply ran out of support. But again, I've mentioned Kilcoyne a number of times, and once again he was the first man to step up, and as he's going into heavy traffic, he's just staring at his options around him. This is a little fumble from Ryan.
Well, there was talk that Arno Bota might go to Ulster. I think Les Kiss was a little bit worried about his medical history. He made his debut for the Boks against Italy, and then a week later in his second game he ruptured his knee against Scotland. But he's made his way here via London Irish, and he's a Munster are the benefactors of the fact that London Irish got relegated.
Okay, that's.
He's looked pretty good.
He certainly has, and my sense is already beginning to suspect the opposition a little bit. It's too early, and it's the first game of the season out here in Thomond Park. But they're doing everything really, really well. They're patching together some really good, clever plays. Both wingers are extremely active. Scannell is getting on the ball and is offering as a second pivot, if you like. He's doing very, very well. And the Munster forwards, I've mentioned Kilcoyne many, many times thus far. They're really beginning to now dominate the Cheetahs front 5.
Crouch!
Yeah, World Cup season, if you like, and Rory Scannell will be keen to impress. He's fallen down that pecking order in midfield behind the likes of Henshaw and Ringrose and even Bundy Aki. 3 Ireland caps to his name. Schumann. Now here come the Cheetahs breaking out, and to good effect and good support lines. That's worked well to the fly off, and that's high from JJ Hanrahan. Penalty coming, picked up by the scrum half.
Penalty advantage still for high.
And they're still going through Nico Lee. Van Rensburg, he's tackled by Scannell. They've made good ground.
You've got the mark for me, lads. Still penalty advantage, White.
Still the advantage. Detroit. And he gets it to Yar, Malcolm Yar. And that was an ambitious offload, but we go all the way back for the penalty.
Yeah.
It's a correct call, I think, in real time. But you'd feel for JJ Hanrahan, I think it was. Just his opposite man was dipping just as he was coming in.
White.
He's losing height. But either way, it's a fair call. But you'd feel a bit for JJ Hanrahan.
Okay, 10 red, it was high.
Yeah, you see those when the players ducking and moving away past you. I think they call it the seatbelt tackle, is it, with one arm over the shoulder and one coming around. That was certainly half a seatbelt tackle. It is a penalty.
Yeah, I think personally you've got to have a zero tolerance for that. But you also have to doff your cap to JJ Henry. He didn't intend to do it.
Okay.
Well, this time the Cheetahs have taken a little bit more of a bite out of the penalty.
But Dupre is standing out. The big 6'11" second row is out in midfield. This will be interesting to see what happens.
Well, their last line out from Jack Detroit was a little bit overthrown. He's not going to throw it that far. There he is at number 3 in the line now. Schumann, and he gets away, and he's got 2 to his left, one of whom was JP Dupree.
Is wide, let go. Knock on.
Munster have won it. It's gone forward. Just these little errors are letting the South African team down. Now Munster looking to manufacture something from deep, perhaps being a little bit
No, we're going back.
too ambitious, and they're saved by
Going back for knock on.
the referee's advantage.
I think it's an extraordinary set-up play from the South Africans to put a 6'11" there. You can see the number 5
Just
coming in.
Look,
even his body position coming in, if the clear out, he's so big, it's not going to be the perfect technique, is it? It's funny why they put him out. Unfortunately, the ball didn't come his way exactly, so I'm not entirely sure why they
We'd
did
like
it.
to know, yeah. Give him the chance to do it again.
Give you what you enjoy.
And we haven't seen him before because he's on debut, so we don't know exactly what box of tricks he has.
Most of them are vertical, I'd guess.
But I tell you, we've spoken a lot about Oxen Chi. If he breaks the first tackle or two, he's got some set of wheels on him for a guy of his size.
I know where the Munster scrum is, but there is a real attacking opportunity here. The Cheetahs have 2 in their backfield, so there's lots of space for Daly or Sweetenham to attack.
It's out. Ball is out, he's broken.
Scannell. Healy up to the 22 for Munster.
That's good, clever play, good, clever exit from Munster.
Taken on by O'Callaghan.
No, rocket formed. Use it. Okay, that's taken in.
Daly off in chase, well gathered by Smallsmith. He had a good season against the Irish provinces. William Smallsmith last season scored tries against Munster and Leinster. He played right across the back line, really. Inside centre, outside centre on the wing.
Thank you. 9 is your time, okay?
Jacques Detroit. 40 minutes we're into red on the clock. Munster leading by 12 points to no score. 2 tries to the good. The opening half here at Thomond Park has flown by. Is it to finish with Munster leading by a couple of tries to no score? Or is there something in the tank here from the Cheetahs? Taken on by Lewin de Bruin, another of the players making his debut this evening. Basson to Detroit.
And they've run out of attackers on the open side, so they're going to have to come back.
That is time.
Schumann to Van Rensburg.
It's come forward.
And Cronin hacks it downfield. And he's had a very, very good half, the Munster scrum half, and it's been a good showing by the team in red. Dave Kilcoyne scoring the second of 2 tries. His 21st for Munster after Rory Scannell had touchdown after a searing break from Darren Sweetenham. And 1 or 2 valuable contributions by the man from South Africa, playing in Munster red, wearing number 8, Arno Botha. Excellent half of rugby from the home side. They lead the Cheetahs by 12 points to 0 at half time.
Well, compared to some of the other games we've had so far this weekend, it's been relatively low scoring, but Munster are ahead 12 points to nil with tries from Scannell and David Kilcoyne. Donncha, what have you made of the first half?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think we've seen really expansive rugby, but this is more a traditional type of game. What we expected from Munster and the Cheetahs, they're the type of team, Tommy, that you have to break down. So you learn the work you put in the first half. So it's I'm sure Munster are looking to get them to a fatigue level that they can exploit in the second half.
Absolutely. And one man who's continued his form through from the pre-season, Darren Sweetenham, he is in some form at the minute.
Yeah, he's in great form, and like Donncha mentioned there, as the game goes on, the Cheetahs are going to tire, and you're going to have guys like Sweetenham in a position of mismatches, stepping forwards, and you see here, lovely handoff, and Scannell's on the inside again, but just some great footwork from the man. I think he's got the ball in space, lovely step, and it's his ability to accelerate again once he's kind of stopped again. Great step. Fantastic offload again on the outside.
Yeah, the offload is brilliant. His footwork it's great. I like that JJ Hanrahan knows that he has space and he gets the ball to him. That's what you want. You want players like Darren Sweetenham in open space, but that offload is brilliant, and Rory Scannell right there to exploit it. A guy that doesn't probably get as much credit as he deserves, but this is just a beautiful offload, and that comes as a result of I was in the High Performance Centre in Limerick during the summer. Everyone else is away, but Darren Sweetenham's in there busting his gut,
Another break here by him as well. He really is playing well at the minute. If he can keep this form going, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with this season.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what you want from your blindside winger. And Tommy, you're a man to talk about this, but sniffing around those fringes of the rucks, looking for those kind of lazy runners where the forwards aren't kind of clocked on, and that's where you want to pick them off, and to show up from his right wing, the far side of the field, to be in those positions is fantastic.
And a man who probably won't get the kudos for that break at the end is a carry by David Kilcoyne, and of course he scored a try. I think that's his 21st try for Munster, which is pretty good going for a prop forward.
Absolutely, he's one of these forwards that close to the line he gets a try. I think this is a great line-up move. Both of those really well off it, and there's certain players that they just find a way to get over the line, and Tommy O'Donnell does a great job there, and John Klein of taking the thread away, but guys like Kilcoyne, they have a way of getting over the line.
Yeah, and the Cheetahs would be very disappointed as well, obviously having lost Mahoja, their captain, so early on into the season, so early into the game. Big loss.
Yeah, it's a huge loss. I think obviously they're a squad who have lost a number of players, leaving the club over the last season, 13 guys, but to lose your leader so early on, your first game of the Pro14, to lose a guy like that, and to obviously you're banking on the other guys to rally around and try and kind of regroup and get things together. So yeah, they'll be disappointed. I think 12-0 half time. Munster will be pleased, I think, but it's going to be a tough second half, and they'll be hoping for the Cheetahs to even tire, I suppose, a little bit more.
Okay, yeah, and Donncha, going back to Munster again, their second row, John Klein, has been somebody you've been very impressed with in that first half.
Tommy, it's like there's two of him on the pitch. He's been incredible. He's just been, his work rate's really high, but he keeps showing for the ball and attack, strong and set piece, but I think he's had a super game.
Okay, looking forward to the second half now, coming up here in Thomond Park. welcome back to Thomond Park. Munster are leading 12-0 against the Cheetahs. Well, guys, subs will come on in this half. How long before do you think you'll see Joey Carberry?
Yeah, I'd say the next, maybe 15 minutes or so, they give Joey a run. I think, Munster in a good position. They're in the lead. The game's going to open up, and it's probably suited to Joey to come on. With Munster in the lead, like I said, and it's probably a less pressurised situation than he probably would have, would have expected. But it's something that I think he has to go through the process. Don't try and do everything. You come off the bench and being in a position before, you try and make an impact, but it's important just to do your job, do what's asked of you, and control the game, like JJ's done very well in the first half.
OK, let's hand upstairs to the comms, Liam and Connor.
So we're all set to go for the second half. The Cheetahs first out. 2 tries down. Munster very impressive in the opening 40 minutes. It's always difficult on your opening salvo. First time out to get all the patterns and the routines working. Everyone up to speed, but they went about their business very, very well indeed. It will have impressed and pleased Johan van Graan, and it will do even more so in the second half if they can make it to that try bonus point win and put the game away. And also we will of course have one eye on the bench for the likes of Joey Carberry and others to just get up and running this season. Is there a way back into the game for the Cheetahs? You mentioned once or twice during that half there was one or two blowing a little bit hard. It is early doors in the season. They have of course travelled up from the Southern Hemisphere on Thursday.
I think the answer for that, Connor, is how the Munster team, and led by Billy Holland, approach the next 40 minutes. I think it's all in Munster's hands. The body language of Cheetahs, they came out, they were smiling, they were joking. They were looking quite upbeat, actually. The break at half-time has given them more energy. But I think that Munster should continue as they have played. They know they have the gun power way out in the back three.
Well, there he is.
And they know they've got that man to come on as well. So they have that. So I think it's about killing off the Cheetahs up front. Just dominating everything up front and allowing the back three, JJ Hanrahan at 10, just to pull the strings. And Scannell is coming into the game a bit more at 12 as a second pivot. And you'd like to see the fullback Mike Haley do something similar. So they have all the guns. They know they have. But the trick is not to take their foot off the throat of Cheetahs.
OK, thanks.
Captain. And that is where it is as we restart for the second 40.
Time on.
Will they go for the jugular is the question. No more back underway.
Well ahead of the kick there.
And well placed underneath it was JP Dupree. Won 2 of their 6 games against the Irish provinces last season, both of those coming down in Bloemfontein against Leinster and Connacht. And there's the barrelling auction cheat.
This time, Connor, he's much narrower. The first 2 carries from Cheetahs much narrower. Maybe that's a subtle change in their approach.
Healy sweeten him. This time he elects to use the boot. Motswani and Schumann. A little indecisive. It's there for the fly half. And Venter.
Tackle release.
John Ryan this time with the tackle. And back we go to Schumann. Has a little look to see where the Munster cover is in the backfield. It's well placed. Hanrahan. Skip out pass, and they're using the width of the pitch and counter-attacking to good effect here, Munster, but just using a little bit too much in the end of the pitch. The intent is there.
Good explosive pace. He had a target of 2 outside him and he picked the right pass.
Time off, lads. Focus down.
The touch just beat him in a way. Cheetahs again, they've set up differently in attack when they're trying to exit from their own half. They split the resources. They ran out of attackers one side, and they're not stacking one way or the other. They're splitting it, and that's an insight maybe into. Here's the Cheetahs hooker. He's just been carrying that leg since about the 30th minute, hasn't he?
Yep. He's not looked entirely comfortable at any stage. And Justin Basson played a lot of rugby last season. 12 starts in the Guinness PRO14. Generally start the season quite well. Munster only lost once on the opening weekend since 2009. That was a narrow defeat to Edinburgh in Limerick in 2014, actually. The stoppage in play brings up the first strains from the Munster faithful of the fields of Athenry. Conway Earls, Conor Murray, Peter O'Mahony, CJ Stander, lots of the Irish contingent to come back in to the fray weeks 2, 3 and 4, depending on where they are in terms of their pre-season and so on.
Certainly the timing of their injuries, particularly in midfield, is going to make it really, really interesting to see. Sam Ireland is on the bench. He's going to get a run today, I assume. And they've got some serious quality to come in. So there's a real opportunity. And with Tyke Byrne yet to come in, and the big question for me of Byrne and Joey Carberry is who's going to adapt to which game. And maybe they meet halfway along there. But Tyke Byrne had one of those, just couldn't do a thing wrong the entire last season. But Scarlets still play a slightly different game. And one of the things interesting looking at Sweetenham and Kilcoyne, both vastly different athletes in terms of physical structures, but they're both hunting for that soft shoulder, and they're both pivoting their head, looking to try and find an offload. That's something that will only stand them in good stead if the team get into that habit. And with Tyke Byrne running great support lines as he's been doing, having someone like Kilcoyne finding him is going to be a real asset.
There's Aidan Davis in the line that time. That took it for the Cheetahs. Schumann moves it on to his outside centre, Van Rensburg. JP Dupree not held in the tackle. Fencer.
See, once again, Cheetahs have split their attack.
They've managed to make inroads, at least beyond their own 22. Fencer. They're looking for that little pop pass out of the tackle.
Not clearly on the ball. He's not clearly on the ball.
Venter now. Options here potentially if they can move it. And here is Oxenchit. And they need to get with him. And they've done so.
Oh, that's a super hit.
Klein again. He is all over the pitch, but now there's a little pocket of space, and now the speedster are off and running. Max and Wani back inside to Yer, and Malcolm Yer is going all the way for the line. What a tackle that is. Sensational defence from Shane Daly. Try-saving tackle, and listen to the roar around Thomond Park. They've come here expecting to see him in an offensive capacity where he's absolutely scintillating, but goodness me, did he cover the ground and make the tackle, and that is brilliant from the young man.
Leading up to that, though, I think Scannell was certainly arguing that he'd been impacted, so maybe the camera will pick us up here, but Scannell at 12 makes the break back. Now look at him and he's full back, look at the two of them tussling, one pulling jersey and a little toe tap. I think it was accidental.
Thank you.
But Scannell was in the picture and then disappeared, and because he was knocked to the ground. Great cover and defence from Daly. What a luxury to have speed.
Yeah.
But speed is not much use if you can't read the situation. I think Scannell had an argument there to say he was knocked to the deck. But superb cover from your open side winger.
And one goes against the throw here. Good contest that from the Cheetahs. Dupree picks it up and leaves it for Venter to play it out into the hands of that man in Chia again. Interesting to see what they can manufacture here.
That's a tackle.
And then they've got space on the outside. Confirmation of the fact that Sam Arnold has joined us at the expense of Dan Goggins, so changes in the midfield for Munster.
4, let go, please. He's let go 4.
There's a Munster hand on it, but Klein has let go, and then it's a little bit tight and awkward. Didn't quite go to hand from Davis, was the intended target.
Scrum advantage, no.
Munster playing with a knock-on advantage. Just can't quite find that fluidity when they come forward and attack. It's a different story when they attack from deep and just use their pace and power, but in terms of the little combinations in and around the red zone, their handling has let them down, their positioning at times.
Good tackle there from Tommy O'Donnell. That's not the easiest of tackles to make.
You played it. Initially off feet before you scoot. Okay. Arrive on your feet, okay?
That's not an easy tackle to make. Tommy O'Donnell did well, chased up. He'd Ryan on his inside and he had Holland on his outside. So he knew he could allow him space, but to make the tackle down. I'm just fascinated by what Cheetahs are doing. At every point in time when they have an opportunity to attack, they're splitting the resources, they're attacking resources, and therefore they're not really getting a man-on-man overlap. Down the blind side there, there was just no way Munster were going to be, unless there was a one-up missed tackle, which can happen, of course, but they're making it much easier for Munster to defend on both sides. For me, if they flood one side or the other, they'll put Munster under a lot more pressure than they currently are.
And Schumann has just pushed that to the left-hand side. They're having to work very, very hard, scrapping for anything that they can get from Munster, who've been disciplined defensively. They haven't conceded too many penalties in their own half of the field, and it was a straightforward enough kick, but nothing's easy at Dublin Park. But the gentleman or lady in charge of the scoreboard certainly thought he should have made that.
Yeah, but the score stood at 12-1 there for a moment in time, and there was an ironic smile from the educated rugby crowd around us.
Advantage, knock on.
And the error count is just climbing from the Cheetahs. Stephen Archer is in for John Ryan.
No, I'm not clear. Okay, with scrimmage.
Not a bad replacement, but again, I thought John Ryan's cameo role there in the end of that test against Australia, he was just fantastic. That the value of having someone who can come on and really understand what's happening in the scrum and make the absolute most of the dangers being presented to him. Really, really clever play. But Archer's had a great season last season as well. Two cracking tight heads.
Bingo. Seconds. Seconds. Let's go out.
Crouch. 5. Set.
So in it goes from Cronin. Hanrahan judges his kick extremely well. Yair, a little bit of oxygen on it, but Yair's got it back here and he's up against Cronin. Kicks it in behind, covering his Hanrahan, and he's come through 3 or 4 now. Can he get it away? There was a hand on that from a Cheetahs player. Nico Lee, I think it was. Munster penalty.
Interesting, it didn't seem to be a creative breakdown. It was still very much in the tackle, but he just simply couldn't resist, could he, Nico Lee? We've seen that 3 times so far where Munster, the ball carrier loses his support so quickly that they're actually passing from the deck themselves. Yeah. So Hanrahan did well, didn't he? Powers through, there's no breakdown there. Couldn't resist it, could he, Lee?
Well, for all the talk of Joey Carberry, as has been said many times today, not least by you, Liam, that JJ Hanrahan will know he's got to put his hand up, and he does have that attacking ability, that willingness to take the ball to the line and beat players, the creative spark.
That's a much better lineup for Munster, getting Klein into the air so quick that the Cheetahs couldn't react, and now they've gained a penalty advantage.
Cronin, Scannell, and now Hanrahan and Haley, and on the far side, just beyond the clutches of Daly. And he knew if that goes into the breadbasket, he's in for a debut try.
Oh, that's disappointing, isn't it? Because he's earned that cover tackle about 5 minutes ago. It was so good. He certainly earned it, but great bit of play. They fixed all the inside defenders. They did exactly what they needed to do. The last Cheetah defender was miles away from Daly. Such a pity he didn't go to hand. But great line out. Like, the delivery of that ball gave Cheetahs no possible chance to get into the air. Klein got it way up into the air.
3 white replacement, please. 1 and 3.
Well, hobbling off as well as Oxen Chia. What a game he's had. What a 50 minutes.
Oh, he was brilliant. He was brilliant. I really loved how he took the ball 15, 20 metres way out, much farther out in midfield. Really super hands, very comfortable around the ball, and a hard man to bring down. He put in his hits as well, the same guy. Like, he was narrower in defence, obviously, as you'd expect a front row player and Munster were carrying at him. So he put in a decent shift today.
And hopefully that's nothing too serious, and that he's fit and able to line out next week against the Ospreys at Liberty Stadium. And this time they go to Arno Bota. Didn't quite get their pod sorted out in time. Timing was a little bit off.
Well, Klein, it looked like Klein was actually coming towards to push Bota, and Bota was trying to step back. So Klein was coming forward and Bota was stepping back, and that's a classic first season. Maybe that is Bota's very first line out as a receiver for Munster. But the lifter going forward and the jumper going back isn't going to be overly helpful.
Good shift, as Liam said, from Mike Sherry. Reece Marshall is in. 51st Munster appearance, given the fact he reached the half century in the semi-final against Leinster at the back end of last season.
5! Lads, okay, we haven't had an issue with pre-engaged. You two come on and pre-engaged, okay? Be careful because there's a free kick in this area then. Thank you. Same again. Don't pre-engage.
Away to Glasgow next up for Munster, who went on to Galway and won by a single point earlier today, 27 points to 26.
Crouch!
And Munster have only one player in the backfield, the full-back as you'd imagine, but both wingers are relatively flat up in defence. No opportunity to exit for Cheetahs.
Under pressure as they were at scrum time. Strong tackle too from Scannell, helped out by Hanrahan. Munster trying to drive over the top. That's really great work.
Okay, I got it. No problem.
Insatiable appetite. Scannell and Hanrahan, and they go quickly here. And they've moved it on to Kilcoyne. He's already got one. Cronin. Munster seeking out a third try here. Inside 5 metres, and they will get their third try. And it's Tommy O'Donnell who dots down. And his name goes on the score sheet, but it was the work prior to that from Rory Scannell and JJ Hanrahan and the presence of mind to go quickly.
I'd even go further back again, Conor. I would suggest that the Cheetahs didn't read the Munster back three. They stacked both wingers up nice and flat, which made what their tactical choice to try and exit through carrying the ball very, very difficult when there was lots of green grass they could have targeted. They were punished. Munster had the confidence that they knew they weren't going to be exposed. They turn over the ball, and all this play is the cherry on the cake. The real cause to this effect of a try was the wonderful repositioning of their wingers, and Cheetahs not spotting it.
Okay, thanks, Mark. Yeah, fine.
Well, he's pushed that quite a distance off the target, and it remains 1 from 3 now for JJ Hanrahan, who kicked 29 of 42 attempts at goal last season, just below that 70% mark.
Much more importantly, the bib has come off.
Time off.
And so it is time.
The bib has come off, and here we go.
Park to welcome Joey Carberry to Munster Red. And listen to the noise, the expectation, the excitement.
Okay, waiting.
Isn't it strange how a matter of weeks the entire Thomond Park are now cheering this man, where a few weeks back
okay, thank you.
it would have been an entirely different reception. Really looking forward to this. But you know what? I'm not looking forward necessarily to what he's going to do, to how his teammates react to him, because this is something they haven't experienced. He's a very different out half from JJ Hanrahan and obviously Ian Keatley. It'll be really interesting to see how his teammates react to the tricks that he can pull and play.
Well, it's the expectation and the unknown, that little bit of X factor when Joey Carberry is on a rugby pitch. You just don't know quite what's going to happen next.
He's pulled back.
It's a huge burden of responsibility to place on the shoulders of someone so young, but where can he take this team? As I said at the outset, it's a long time since they landed a piece of silverware, and last season was proof of that they exited both competitions at the semi-final stage. They were only a point behind Leinster, let's not forget.
Okay,
and can Joey Carberry
again,
be that
23.
missing piece of the jigsaw?
Hold in. Okay, time back. That's fine.
Dan Goggin is back with us.
And that's the first line-up Munster have contested.
Okay,
and look, they put huge pressure on
Penalty advantage.
Cheetahs. Too
Okay,
much,
no
obviously.
advantage. Pulling the
Got
arm.
themselves a penalty and they'll tap and go here. Tackle by Healy. Dupree. Venture again to Detroit. Back inside to Morris. And it's there
Okay,
for
red, release, please.
Pocamella,
Release,
the
red.
blindside
Okay,
flanker.
let it come.
Schumann didn't really have a great option.
Again, they've run out of attackers.
Okay, use it, 8.
Dupree as they look to truck it up and use their physicality in those narrow corridors.
Great read.
Neil Cronin's had a terrific game. Lined up his man and executed it brilliantly. In came Stephen Archer. Yeah, Munster have turned it over. That was O'Callaghan in there.
And there's a lot of green grass if it stays in play.
And it has. Now what happens next? Schumann's in a little bit of bother here.
Red, let go!
Needs the
Let go,
support
Red,
to
'cause you're
arrive.
on the wrong side, thank you.
He was on the wrong
No,
side.
Stay. No.
And they need a good exit strategy here just to lift the pressure. Anything could have happened there. Dupree, for a man of 6'11", he can make ground even on his hands and knees.
Okay, make sure we're bound, full on. That's it.
And that's gone straight up in the air and it's coming backwards if anything. Lost backwards. Play on, says the referee.
Now they've got numbers here. Get it out.
Need to move it quickly. Carberry goes deep to Scannell. Thought about going over the top. Had Goggin and Sweetenham on this side.
Off feet too. He's let go, play on.
Detroit has left that just in the nick of time. Arno Bota.
No.
Cronin again. Has Holland as captain in close attendance, and he tried that
Vantage
little
White.
pop pass to Tommy O'Donnell, the most recent of the Munster try scores. Didn't quite work out that time.
That's a role that Billy Holland plays quite a lot, that pivot.
Replacements White, please.
But look at the breakdown laws. So Hooker coming
And
in
red 4
over the
replacement
ball.
as well,
Look at
please.
his elbows
Find out who the,
as he gets on the
Cheetahs
deck.
captain is, please.
Is he supporting his body weight there? No, he's not. He goes in for the bite. The referee is very, very, very patient because those 2-3 seconds there are the difference between the next receiver taking it flat and running at a mismatch in defence. I think the referee shouldn't be as patient. I think he should pull that straight away, and I'd nearly go far and kill it off with a card. That's a professional foul for me.
And so changes the foot for both sides. Franco Smith emptying his bench on 57 minutes.
And number 22, Erhol Stoppelberg, is gone. The tie with the Cheetahs.
Munster also making a change. Darren O'Shea coming in.
Okay, loose head and tight head. We had a bit of a pre-engage last time. Okay, just keep that space. I'll be this side now.
Tian Mayer wearing 21 now at scrum half for Sean Fencer for the Cheetahs.
Let's go, Axie. Let's go.
Crouch!
Like in the opening 5-10 minutes, Cheetahs, you could see their game plan very, very obvious. They were using left to right, full width of the pitch. But since then, I've really struggled to understand what their game plan is.
Same again, lads, please. Okay. Okay, we agree to keep it stable. Let's do it again, please. So I said square. Yeah, I'm coming this side now. That's fine.
Lovely and square, Killer's perfect.
That's
all it goes. Perfect. Locks! Yeah, locks! Let's go dash, let's go ball!
Crouch!
Sit.
Bind! Set!
Hardly straight.
Mayer waits, the two front rows are down, and it's a Cheetahs penalty.
Oh, watch his arm, watch his arm.
Munster retreat, they've got
Okay, your shape is in and down.
JJ Hanrahan at fullback. Haley's gone to that far left-hand side to play on the wing. Carberry, of course, at 10, awaiting his first real involvement. Cronin looked to have.
This is a really interesting law that has been brought in. You can actually start from outside the pitch and go in. It depends if the ball is at the plane of touch.
13, okay. He's coming, keep the time.
Once upon a time, you couldn't even do that at all. But once you land back in the pitch, regardless of when you start your journey, and where the ball, if it's on the plane of touch, etc.
Well, that's a good one-handed take initially, yeah. And this time the switch of Arnold and Goggin in that Munster midfield is a permanent one. Away comes Meyer. Scannell quickly out of the line to make life difficult for Steppelberg. And that's high. There's a little bit of silliness thereafter.
Release 8, please. Come here a sec. Here. 8, come here. 23, come here. Okay. Thank you. We've got a high tackle from White. You don't need to come in react. Then also you don't need to go in for afters. Okay, we're going to have an original penalty. You could risk 10 metres and you could risk reversal. Okay, penalty is here. Hi.
And as quickly as it all came about, it's forgotten, and Munster will resume with a penalty.
Well, Sam Arnold is one tough hombre, and I don't think he'll ever take a step back. And Vise, certainly as a number 8, isn't going to do so likewise. Good refereeing, good sensible refereeing. Essentially, I don't really care who was at fault there, lads. Just move on.
Diffusing the situation. Munster looking to reignite their attack here. Carberry. Bocha. Carberry again. And now Arnold. And Arnold's through here. He's done really well. Only sweetened him to the right-hand side. He did have a possibility of an offload inside. Carberry just delayed his pass, and there's Hanrahan, and he's away here. JJ Hanrahan over the top they go. This is looking very promising from a Munster point of view. Angles of attack and weapons aplenty in different positions, including this man, Kilcoyne. But on this occasion he's driven backwards, picked up by Archer. What have we got in store for the final quarter of the game here from Munster? Holland gets it away to the South African Bocha. Archer again to Kilcoyne. Rides the challenge of Pokamila. There it is for Cronin. Carberry, and it goes to Arnold. Taken on by Billy Hollands. Up to 5 metres, Cronin. Carberry has a little look inside. His feet got him away from the challenge initially, but just lost it in the tackle, and the Cheetahs break outside their 22.
No, not fair.
You can see Joey Carberry's itching to make a telling contribution.
Leon, backwards. Hands away, White, let it come. Leave it, White, let go. Dig it out. Dig it out. Dig it out.
Thanks. Cheetahs. Well, it was.
You've lost control of it.
Seemed to be coming back on the Cheetahs side, but the referee has ruled in favour of Munster, and they'll get the put in.
The ball was loose and it was forward.
Oh, he's knocked it on the deck. Junior Pokamila.
Okay, 1 and 7.
Tommy O'Donnell is going off.
That's fine. Let's go, lads.
Brian Scott's coming in. And Dave Kilcoyne, who's put in Quite a shift, as he always does. Called a short.
He's been very, very good, Kilcoyne. He's taken a lot of our rubbishy ball, but he's done some very clever stuff, and he's really hunting for the offload where best possible. The try obviously is a just reward for it, but he's got on the ball a huge amount. Tommy O'Donnell, who's had his injury problems down the... Gee, he's been very, very unlucky, hasn't he? Tommy O'Donnell's a great for him to come out.
Yeah.
A shoulder operation at the back end of last season. Interesting to see how Gavin Combs goes.
Okay,
Very sharp in pre-season.
Just looking at Carberry already, I know to try and pick the exact example, but look at the way he can take the ball within a matter of feet of the opposition. He's interesting 2 or 3 defenders every time, but he's so comfortable very, very close to the tackle area, and I think that's one of his key attributes. And again, when he came on, one of the things I was saying is how are his teammates going to react to that? Because I think he has the ability to take the ball right in heavy traffic,
time back on,
sniff around defenders, get them interested in him, and that's where the likes of Sweetenham come in and off the blind. That's where these guys can do some serious damage.
Yeah, okay, I'll go back.
Yes. Go, Scotty. Crouch! Fine!
So an excellent attacking position this for Munster. That's a full-on penalty.
Angle. Straight in.
Tight head not straight. Carberry will kick the touch.
Square.
Munster come in search of the 4th try to bring up the bonus point. Attacking line-out on 5 metres, and their line-out has functioned extremely well over the course of the first hour or so. Confirmation of the fact that Munster go to Glasgow next Friday from 7. Always a difficult prospect on that pitch in Scottstown. So here they go, and on they go, and they're getting momentum.
That's his own player, play on.
Too many bodies on the deck. Reece Marshall couldn't quite keep his feet. That looked a little bit high. Cronin, he's having a little look and a snipe, and Munster might be in here. They're very, very close, and they have their 4th try. And it looked like it was the captain, Billy Holland.
Slow down.
And a broad smile etched across the face of Billy Holland as he brings up the bonus points.
Okay, I'm going to have to check this because 5 has said to 10 take it quickly, so it's likelihood he's lost control. Okay, so try yes or no, please.
That's quality refereeing.
Time is off, okay.
Dan Jones.
Thank you.
When in doubt, shut your mouth.
Maybe that's why he was smiling. Rueful smile rather than... let's see.
There's something happened between lip and cup, as they say. That's a great one-arm tackle on the ball. Does he lose it? He's in control there. Ooh! That's got the hint of losing control. He might get away with it because is there a camera to show it?
And if it's inconclusive,
it's got to be from the other side. It's got to be from the halfway line on the other side.
If you missed what the referee said, by the way, he went upstairs to the TMO because he heard Billy Holland say to Joey Carberry or JJ Hanrahan, take it quickly.
If you've got nothing good to say nothing at all.
Say nothing, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, it looks there. But whether that's sufficient evidence for ignoring what Billy Holland might have been heard to say, is that sufficient evidence? That's still not conclusive because the ball can go backwards, obviously, so it may not be a knock-on.
Dan, I have a decision.
Yeah.
The ball's been lost forward by red.
Yeah.
Scrum down. Fence ball.
Okay, so no try.
I don't know how he can say it is lost forward. He certainly may have lost it, but lost forward is very difficult to establish. we might get a better look at it from this angle. I'm not so sure we need it all the way around.
Yeah, it looks as though he's clutching. You know yourself when you're...
It was a self-inflicted wound. He announced the question.
And had it not been for that, Munster would have their fourth try and the bonus point. And they still have 15 minutes and a little bit more to try and get it. But yeah, it's the ultimate unwitting act of sportsmanship. It's like, you know, in snooker where you touch the cue ball or in squash the ball.
50-50 sportsman. He said kick it quickly.
Yeah,
so it wasn't quite.
No, you're absolutely right. Yeah. Meyer. Can they manufacture something here, the Cheetahs? They've not really offered too much of an attacking threat in the second half. Much of their expansive play and their creativity came in the opening 15-20 minutes of the game. That didn't quite go to plan. It's going to be Munster ball on the Cheetahs 22. They're in quickly to pick it up one-handed from Reece Marshall. Right in front of the posts. Options left and right for Cronin. Comes around to the right-hand side to Brian Scott. Carberry, and that's nicely done to Hanrahan. And now Sweetenham, and he gets his pass away as far as O'Callaghan, inside 5 metres. Carberry at scrum half gets it away to Archer. Carberry again at the base of the ruck. Scannell, do they have men over? No, straightening the line and waltzing in for the score that's been overdue and a long time coming. It's JJ Hanrahan.
Head, yeah.
Like Munster look like a team ready to keep going forward and attack every opportunity. Cheetahs, their opposition, look exhausted. They've run out of ideas. They're just a bit flat, and they've actually stopped an interest in defending their own goal line. Beaten on the inside shoulder. There was no one hunting from inside. A great line. Like the skill of Hanrahan is to recognise the mismatch and attack it. Like you look at the Cheetahs hooker, Jacques Dutoit. He had an opportunity to shove out. He didn't bother.
And the applause around the stadium is for the departing Neil Cronin, who's had a cracking game at number 9, giving an excellent account of himself.
Sign back on, sign please. Cheers. Cheers, mate.
He's been exceptional for Gary Owen the last couple of seasons. He's a secondary school teacher at St Munchins in Limerick, and he must be a decent coach because he's guided the Junior Cup team to their first Cup triumph in 20 years.
He looks particularly happy, and rightly so.
Munster's number 10 adds 2 more.
Thank you.
And it's 24 points to no score. Munster's number 10, who's back in at number 10 for the moment. Joey Carberry's gone to number 15. And they'll chop and change. Hanrahan settles back into the backfield. 12-13 minutes or thereabouts to go. It's set up for Munster just to try and really keep going here. Just keep the tempo going. Try and manufacture another couple of tries.
Wait.
That's a quality line
Wait,
out
get
take.
back, move back.
Great line out
Move
throw.
Okay.
Especially from a hooker who's been carrying a leg for the last half hour or so.
And he's still there, Jacques Detroit. He's got support coming in.
Twice and use!
Isn't it amazing how their opening 10 minutes or so, they were using the full width of the pitch. Now they've completely concertinaed right into a narrow game plan. I wonder, is that a decision they've made, or is it just evolved as thus?
Dead.
Well, Billy Holland went in and made that Munster ball.
Okay, Mark is there, lads. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, lads, your time. Let's go, please.
Well, he looks happy. He should be. Liam, do you think the overall, I know there's still 10 minutes or so, as I say, just to embellish it, put a little bit of gloss on it, but he'll be happy enough, won't he?
Yeah, and I think he'll be a realist as well. It's important to get his first start for Joey Carberry in front of a pretty healthy crowd as well, but he'll realise that Cheetahs, there's far greater hurdles throughout the season coming down the track, no more than the next game out for Munster. So he'll be a realist, he'll understand what they've achieved. It's a really good afternoon's rugby.
Carberry pops one away to Scannell. Taken on there by Darren O'Shea.
On the floor, can't play it. Okay.
They're getting a little bit sloppy at times now, the Cheetahs.
We'll find that in the law book.
And it's also interesting, of course, it's Johan van Graan's first pre-season with Munster. He's had those 8 or 9 weeks to work with the players, and they'll still be trying things out in the opening few weeks. Now it's a really good kick from Carberry.
Time off. For penalties like that, if we have another silly one like that, I'll have no option but to go yellow card, okay? That's just silly penalties, okay? 2 white and the reversal, 3. We got time off a minute, we got replacements coming on, okay? Sorry, say again.
A couple of changes coming in, new recruits for the Cheetahs.
Yeah. Okay, time is back on. Let's go.
Holland collects.
Is he okay, Mark? Yeah. Fine. No, he's fine. Entry's fine.
Look at the body position of the Munster players, most of whom standing up, fighting for the ball. Really depowers the potential drive for the line.
James Hart. Marshall, supported by Brian Scott.
Yeah, moving.
Holland will go again. Hart, Carberry, and it's made its way out, and it will be a 5th try, and it's Dave O'Callaghan this time.
And Sweetenham in there was skipped in many ways, but he was smashed to the ground, so that's a little bit of a slide off the ball, and he's hurting on the deck. But again, part of what we're hoping Carberry can do is get right on the gain line. See the hit on Sweetenham? That's worth a look from a refereeing point of view. You can see it. But Carberry obviously gets about 2 or 3 guys turn their shoulders in. And the last defender for Cheetahs just smashes Sweetenham on a cheap shot, really.
Yeah, the water. Thanks.
So Dave O'Callaghan follows JJ Hanrahan, Tommy O'Donnell, Dave Kincoyne and Rory Scannell onto the try scorers list. That's his best one of the afternoon. Finds his radar. 31 points to no score. We're inside the final 10 minutes, and there's more points on offer here for Munster if they really go for it. It's the pace on the pass from Carberry that allows Sweetenham the option just to take his hands away. He knows it'll make it to O'Callaghan. He knows that his flankers outside him. Relatively easy score for the big number 6. He's played well too today, Rory Scannell.
5.
He's had an excellent game. All the way to Nico Lee. He was excellent, the inside centre last season, and here goes Sweetenham, and he's got to run in from 60 metres. Under the post he go, and it's half a dozen racked up by Munster a second. Well, it's a gift of a try. The pass wasn't really on, it went to ground, Sweetenham collected it.
Well, one way of saying it's a gift of a try, another way of saying is a look at the Munster red wall. They just pushed up and absolutely gave no option. But like, you don't want, if you're the Cheetahs, you don't want that guy anywhere next or near the ball. He's flying it. He hasn't dropped pace. He hasn't dropped energy. He hasn't dropped his impact on this fixture. He's had a wonderful game. But that was the reward. Yes, a little bit of poor, sloppy play from Cheetahs, but the fact that Munster, the flip side is anytime Munster get towards the Cheetahs line, Cheetahs are quitting. They're not doing the same. You attack when you have the ball and you attack when you don't have the ball, and that's exactly what Munster did there. Super play, sloppy play from Cheetahs, yes, but they were forced into it. Look at him, he's leaving all his support behind.
Yeah, he's been outstanding this afternoon in a team of good performances. He looks absolutely razor sharp, Darren Sweetenham. Well, it's been comfortable for most of the game, it has to be said, from Munster, but certainly from this point of view, it's a big score for the Cheetahs to concede. And here they go again. Hart just angles his run to invite the support, gets it away to Hanrahan, 2 on the outside. There's
should have given it.
Yeah, there's lots of options and they're all over the place here, the Cheetahs defensively. Hart's lost that, but really when on 52 minutes I think it was, Munster got their 3rd try, Tommy O'Donnell, it's been a case of how much and how many in terms of the score and try count.
Okay, time off.
He absolutely blistered. There's no jersey anywhere near him. He just ran out of options. But a lovely line from Carberry there, the first man possibly to get the pass. But this is carried in 2, fixed the defender. He did everything he needed to do. All he needed to do was pop it and keep it flowing out towards the tram tracks.
Let's go. Okay, time back on. Cheers, time.
Interesting character, James Hart. He got his move to Racing basically off the back of his performance when Grenoble went to Paris and beat Racing. And scored a try.
Leave it, you two.
Kicked a few penalties, couple of conversions, almost flawless performance. A decent place to go when you can learn off the likes of Machinot and Dan Carter et al. Arno Botha.
That's ripped backwards off White, play on.
Oh, great offload from the number 8.
Okay, no knock on only, no advantage coming. Scrum. You need time.
Here we have the Cheetahs number 8 picking up, carrying in both hands, and look at this. That's a wonderful offload. Attacks the inside shoulder, gets Sweetenham involved as well, so he brings 2 in on the defence and creates some space. Super skills from the Cheetahs number 8, Jasper Vise.
We've seen 1 or 2 flashes from the likes of Rabs Maxwani.
But see, it's very difficult, Conor, when you're judging an individual's performance for the Cheetahs, because the opening 10 minutes you could see a game plan, you could see them imposing that game plan on Munster. Yeah. But for the last 60 minutes, they have not imposed anything. They've confused me in that they had a full width of the pitch play, and then they've concertinaed a very narrow game. They split their attack. They haven't created any real decisions for a Munster defender to have to make. They haven't created any 2-on-1s. You remember in the first half where Sweetenham carried the ball in 2 hands and fixed players? Cheetahs weren't doing that for a good hour. Disappointing in that sense.
Bind! Set!
There's Joey Carberry with the tackle, doing his best to at least be a little bit of a speed bump in terms of the progress of the South African number 8. Here he is with ball in hand, Carberry, and he gets his back line moving again. Hanrahan accelerating up to that Cheetahs 22.
Turnover was good, play on.
The Cheetahs had won it initially. A little bit of to and fro in there.
Play on.
Cheetahs ball.
Contest was fair from both sides.
Hart in there tackling.
Okay, let it come.
A little bit of a telegraphed pass. Munster sensing a turnover. They won't get it on this occasion. Back on the Cheetahs side. Strong challenge, physical challenge, typically from Sam Arnold on Van Rensburg. They have a long way to go from this position, the Toyota Cheetahs, if they're to register on that scoreboard.
Still in.
There's quite a few weary limbs and tired minds as well out there from the team in white. Oh, that's gone awry. Requires a little bit of tidying up. A little bit ragged and sloppy now. Okay, Liam, little stoppage in play. Time to select your man of the match this evening.
Well, certainly for the first hour or so, it was the game of the two loose heads, Oxley Nietzsche and David Kilcoyne, both of whom were absolutely wonderful in everything they did. But the fact that Darren Sweetnam is still on the pitch and is so instrumental in all that has been positive in what Munster play, and I'm really heartened by the fact he's a back three, but I thought he had a wonderful game. He taught us all about his twinkling toes. He puts the fear of God in defenders and he's a wonderful performance.
11 replacement, please.
You won't get too many arguments around here, I'm sure, from the Munster faithful. They've enjoyed his performance.
Substitution for the Toyota Cheetahs, number 11, William Small.
Okay, let's go, gents, please.
Rhino Eckstein is coming in for William Smallsmith.
The Guinness man of the match is number 14, Darren Sweetnam.
Popular choice for the man of the match. What a game he's had.
5, set.
Boats awaits. The two front rows are
sideways and then it's gone up. There's
upright,
no dominance.
and we'll go again.
Red. Okay, he's popped up.
I'm just thinking of combinations there. Really excited about what the Guinness Pro back three players throughout the sides. I mean, the top teams, how they use their wingers and their full back and how they rotate it. But if you look at that, how Scannell and Carberry already are beginning to develop, even in a matter of minutes, develop how they can play off each other and pivot off each other. It's a really exciting time for Munster, and that's with one eye on the opposition today. Yeah, again, we got to recognise that there's far greater challenges for them. But still, there's a hint of some really wonderful combinations throughout the Munster side.
Yes, it's something that's worth reviewing probably by the time we get to the European games.
At the back of it, please. Okay, feet too
4 or
far
5,
back.
half a dozen games in. As I said, it's away to Glasgow, then home to the Ospreys, then they go to the Arms Park to play Cardiff before a home match against Ulster, and then they're away at Leinster, and that will be the acid test, I suppose.
It will, but when you look at whomever they're starting out half by that stage is, but assuming that Carberry is in pole position of sorts, the midfield, whoever that happens to be, and there's injuries coming back as well, it's a really exciting time to see how those two guys in the outside centre will be getting seconds that they didn't have in previous seasons because of the way Carberry can play on the game line.
Set.
And interesting to see how he's used and when he's used. I mean, I was a little bit surprised even to see him on the bench today, but obviously it's coming from, not directly from on high, but I mean, he's here to play rugby, he's here to have game time at number 10, so... But I mean, he was a summer tourist as well. There's not too many of them other Irish players around the provinces back this quickly. Do you think he'll play every week from here on in, or will he drop him in and out?
Well, isn't that what Irish Rugby wants? Irish Rugby wants its best players playing in the 4 provinces. Of course it is. Now, I think, again, let's reflect on JJ Hanrahan's performance. He played very, very well, controlled things, but they're just different players.
Yeah.
So ultimately, it may come down from a coaching point of view, which player he wants to make the most of the assets he has.
Bolcha. Picked up by Gavin Combs.
White, hands away, White, let go.
We're well over the 80 minutes. Are we to finish with a flourish here and get a 7th try? The answer is no. That's gone forward.
That's a knock-on
Cheetahs
by
have
Red
picked it up.
there.
And it's job done. on the first assignment on the long road of the Guinness PRO14 has been passed with flying colours by Munster. Johan van Graan's side eventually helping themselves to no fewer than 6 tries. And it included the debut of Joey Carberry. Debut 2 for Arno Botha. Tries from Scannell, Kilcoyne, O'Donnell, Hanrahan, O'Callaghan and Sweetnam. It means it's finished at Thomond Park in Limerick. Munster 38, the Toyota Cheetahs 0. Resounding, emphatic, call it what you want, it's job done, and it's the 5 points in the bag, 6 tries to the good. And as you say, Liam, the reflection will be with one eye on today's opposition. Much more difficult challenges lie ahead, but nonetheless you can only beat what's in front of you, and they did that with plenty to spare.
Yeah, and I think just not that. I suppose we sitting here in the best seat in the house, you get to really just stare at different combinations and look at different combinations. And the back three, I think this is their first time playing in competitive rugby as a unit. I thought they provided a huge amount. Obviously Sweetnam was especially good, but I think Haley looked like a guy who has an awful lot of really quality feet, and Daly has the pace, and just the covering tackle he made a little early in the first half. And in camera there, Dave Kilcoyne, I thought he was just fantastic in all the grunt stuff, absolutely, but the fact that he's added a pivot of his eyes, looking and hunting for an offload, I think that's really something to be commended. And that's something when you think of when Tyke Byrne comes into the game, you think of that's the sort of stuff Tyke Byrne is used to with the Scarlets. What he isn't used to is some of the other Munster play. So if you've got the likes of Dave Kilcoyne hunting, looking for loose shoulders, weak shoulders, and then pivoting back to try and get an offload, there's an awful lot of red jerseys who are going to swarm in there and going to climb there. And the second row partnership is obviously a big partnership in many ways. Klein, I thought, was superb in the opening hour or so that he played. So there's an awful lot of really positive things there at play, and a lot of the combinations, and you can't ignore Joey Carberry's arrival. I just love the way he plays so flat on the gain line.
Okay, well, let's hear from the man of the match.
Darren Sweetman, you today's PRO14 man of the match. Here to present your award is Ken O'Dea from Guinness.
Congratulations, Darren. Guinness man of the match. Thank you.
Darren, you must be delighted with the start there. Getting on the scoreboard yourself, how happy are you with today's result?
Yeah, obviously, it's the first game of the season. We always want to get off with a win. The Cheetahs are a good side. They can score from anywhere. So yeah, look, we're just happy to get the win under the belt now and push on to a difficult game in Glasgow next weekend.
Munster were dominant in a number of areas today. What were some of the highlights for you?
Sorry, I can't.
Munster were dominant in a number of areas today. What were some of the highlights for you?
Yeah, obviously, look, we didn't let them score, so I thought our defence was very good. Our mauls were good, our scrum was very dominant, so obviously that helps the backs a lot. And then we scored some nice tries as well.
How good did it feel to be back in front of the Munster faithful here in Thomond Park?
Oh yeah, it's amazing, you know. You're kind of itching at the bit for the season to come around, and it's the best place to play. So yeah, delighted with this now.
Congratulations on your man of the match, and best of luck next week.
Okay, very happy Darren Sweetnam there. What a performance by him. Don't forget, we have live coverage of Munster versus Glasgow next Friday on Air Sport 1 from 7. And on Saturday, it's a repeat of last year's final as Scarlets host Leinster from Parky Scarlets. We get underway again at 7. Lads, what a performance. 38.